Now it's back to Marvel Stadium for 3AW's coverage of the Good Friday clash between the Roos and the Dons.
Bombers by 36 points at half-time. Matthew Lloyd and Wayne Carey have just raised a stack of money for the Royal Children's Hospital. They're both with Tom Morris.
Thanks, guys. Wayne Carey, Matthew Lloyd, you're with me now. Geez, that was tight, wasn't it, Lloydie?
It was tight, as you'd expect. North Melbourne, Bombers, great rivalry. Duck and I, great rivalry. And to end in a tie was magnificent.
Did you enjoy it, Wayne? That yellow ball was pretty important.
It was. I missed one of the yellow balls, which I'm disappointed about. But what a great cause. Bit of fun. I'm just glad we put a few through. One, obviously, for the charity, but two, so we didn't make fools of ourselves, Lloydie.
Thank you very much, Wayne. The ball went in the air, the grass went in the air, Lloydie. That's just part and parcel of the way you play.
I would have loved to have done every kick, Tom, but I didn't have time. It makes me feel good before a shot. As Wayne said, great cause. Shanked the field at the end. It was great fun.
Get upstairs next to Shorey. Thanks, mate. Back to you guys.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Tommy. 36 points to margin. That number again for the Good Friday appeal, 1300 277 325. Donate for the Royal Children's Hospital. Matty Lloyd will be back with us. Let's talk about the game. Shorey,
yep.
What do North need to do?
Oh, they've got to start winning clearances. They got smashed in that quarter. They're now 8 down in clearances. Inside 50s went to 5, but it's not about that. It's about the depth and the ability for Essendon to mark the ball inside 50. You look up the other end, and Essendon set up beautifully. To throw Ambrose to Brown and then use Hooker and Hurley as intercept players, it has worked beautifully for Essendon, and North Melbourne haven't been able to cope with it. So it's about getting some domination around the centre, around the clearances. And let me tell you, I watched Toddy Goldstein. All his teammates were doing some ground level pickup drills, and he was standing with his hands on the hips for about, I reckon, at least a minute and a half, not getting involved. Now, whether one, you might be sore or whatever, or two, you're just not interested. I hope he starts this quarter well, because it was pretty ordinary just what I saw then. And it's only a little thing, but these little things count. It's one in, all in when you're under the pressure.
Big quarter coming up for North Melbourne. They trail by 36 points. Third quarter brought to you by Robot Building Supplies. 3AW Good Friday footy from Marvel Stadium. The second half underway as Tom Bell Chambers dispossessed in the middle of the ground. Cunnington got out a little handball now to Hall. Hall goes back to Cunnington, who's immediately tackled by Dylan Shield, unrelenting from the Bombers star midfielder, and Shield will get the free kick just defensive side of centre. So the perfect start for the Bombers to regain possession as Redmond comes out to the broadcast, or Dockland's wing. Merritt, back fly to the ball. Low trajectory kick to Brown, back to Merritt, lobs it inside 50. Ball bounced up though from McMillan of North Melbourne. McMillan then knocked it into the path of McDonald, Tip and Woody, and Tipper's got two. That hurts. North Melbourne trails by 42 points to start the third term. Essendon 10-7-67. North Melbourne 3-7-25. Robot Building Supply scoreboard.
Well done to Dylan Shield. Great tackle in the middle of the ground to just turn this ball over when it was going North's way. But that's the problem with North. At the moment, they're downhill skiers. They don't spread enough from the midfield, and that means Essendon are getting out wide. And on that occasion was Merritt. He did the old 1-2 twice there and kicked the ball, not to anybody in particular, but just into a dangerous area. And, you know, under pressure, that the North Melbourne defence, they're just falling apart. But I blame their midfield. It's just coming in too easy and too often.
Gee, the Bombers are making a mess of North Melbourne here on Good Friday. They lead by 42 points now. And we're back in the middle. Goldstein was able to guide that one down to Anderson, now to Higgins, now to Hall. Got to be quick with the kick. It was almost run down. He got the kick away, but it was interrupted, that kick. So a chance for the Bombers to regain possession on the wing. Simpkin went through, couldn't take it cleanly. Mason Wood tied up on his backside, was able to get the handball away. And there is Ham. The Bombers keep it alive. Stringer tried to knock it on. And the footy is in momentarily and then just pushed over by McKenna. And we're going to have a throw in right on the wing, right in front of the interchange gates. Tom Morris, any injury issues down there, or are we all clear?
Nah, all clear at this stage. Just an update on the money being raised. 6,345,647.
Keep it coming. Here's Heppel inside 50. Brown. He plays for the free kick. I think it was definitely there. It was called. And Mitch Brown is going to get the free kick and the shot at goal for 45 metres. Again, it was coming in so quickly. Just a little bit of panic set in from Scott Thompson.
Well, look, I think Brown's been brilliant all day. I look at his stats. He's been a high possession getter. He's had 12 possessions, but he deserved to have kicked another couple of goals because he has just been so clear and they haven't used him. Kicked one goal, going for his second. And that's against Scotty Thompson, who looks slow.
Become an important player, Mitch Brown. That kick no good, though, to the left and through for a minor score as they go to 10-8-68. the Bombers. The Kangaroos are 3-7-25 at 2.5 minutes in, third quarter.
Matthew Lloyd, after raising $18,000 alongside Wayne Carey, back in the commentary box. How did you miss that last one, Lloydie?
I'm not a snapping man. I thought I'd go for the glory with a snap. I'm more than traditional as Shorey. I'm a drop punt man.
Swing between the flags.
Stick to what you know.
Well done on raising 18 grand, but it could have been 21.
Yeah.
So here's Dumont, gets the handball away on the broadcast wing to Simpkin, and now Anderson to Mason Wood. Oh, it took off more than he could chew. Mason Wood run down from behind, and that's a wonderful tackle from Mason Redmond as the ball comes to the middle of the ground for the Bombers. Shield coughed it up. Getting it back is Dumont of North Melbourne. He gave a little handball off. Here's Higgins now as Atley was taken dispossessed, and a free kick to the Bombers as Sard. Handball to McKenna. Everyone stopped. McKenna parted the seas. The Irishman goes for glory and misses to the near side.
Well,
everyone just stood there, Shorey.
That is an indictment on the North Melbourne Football Club. Lack of effort. It's like they've put the cue in the rack here. It's just too hard for them.
Here's Tarrant. He brings it in straight down the middle. He goes. Sard was up again. Couldn't take the mark. Cunnington. Handball backwards. Pollock. Back to Cunnington. Off half back Higgins. Adds a bit of class to the mix. Handball to Zeeble. Handball to Hall. Hall now gets a clear look at it. He's outside the 50. Unguarded goal square. He goes for the big goal. And it hits the woodwork. So another poster as the margin is 43 points on the Robot Building Supply scoreboard. 4 minutes in, third quarter.
17th on the ladder north, and it's still, with the scoreboard now, they can't have it be an 80-90 point score, or Brad Scott will be under enormous pressure, as will his players. So they have to fight here, fight hard.
Heppel from defensive 50 to the centre corridor. Shield has all the space in the world. One bounce, two bounce, keeps running, goes to 51, delivers inside 50. There's no one in that left forward pocket. It's going to be picked up in the back pocket by Trent Dumont. He takes a bounce now, delivers out of defensive 50. Atley takes the mark over Bagley. Now a handball to Polak. Little kick inboard, wanted Hall. Well punched away by Sard. Spills to the back. Fantasia, as easy as you like. Orazio Fantasia gets his fourth of the afternoon, and that was too exquisite. Nothing North Melbourne could do about that. The Bombers 11-9-75. North Melbourne 3-8-26.
Well, you look at metres gained, and we talk about the leg speed of North Melbourne. And they're fortunate that Zaharakis and Smith aren't playing, because they're down 800 metres in the game.
Yeah.
And already they've doubled them in this quarter just with the run, the carry. They just can't get their hands on the footy here, North Melbourne. Or when they do, it's slow, stagnant. You look at Shield and Redmond and Merritt and all these, McKenna, Sard, just the run, the carry. I fear that could this be a 100-pointer? The mood the Bombers are in, this could be very ugly here.
Well, I think you need leadership at this stage, and I look up to their forward line, and that man, Jack Zeeble, is in the forward line again. Now, to me, it is ridiculous that a man, we know he hadn't got great stamina, but he's a ball winner. He needs to be given a chance in the middle of the ground to try and help lift his teammates.
Bombers by 49. We're back in the middle. They might go again. Here the Bombers. Bell-Chambers bends over. Couldn't collect. And now McGrath is caught up in the tackle. Can't get it out. Let's get down to Tom Morris from McGregor Portables.
We spoke about Tippin Woody with a webbing cut in his right hand. He's also got that corky on his right quad. That's been heavily strapped up. He's on the bench now.
Cunnington was somehow able to stand up in the tackle and get a little kick away. Mason Wood caught that time by Redmond, and then he wins it at ground level. Up for grabs. Shield gets involved, and the Bombers win it again.
Look at the switch from Heppel here.
Yep, McKenna went to Heppel, spilled it initially, and then went back to Redmond. Gee, this kid, he's got some game. He kicks the half forward and doubling back. Nice mark has been taken by Parrish. So Darcy Parrish inside the centre square as the Bombers are surging again. He goes to the forward pocket, and Mitch Brown almost took the mark. Pittard, late spoil. Pittard gets onto it at ground level. He was able to clear it. A blind kick out of there, though. Parrish spills it. Comes to Kane Turner. Kane Turner's kick only just found Zerha, who takes the centre half back North Melbourne.
They just look so slow at the moment, the Kangaroos, as Zerha goes to Sean Higgins, who thought he had a bit of run on the city wing, but was then held up. Goes short. Little kick to Polak, who sends it down that city wing
Hooker
to a one-on-one contest. Wanted Kane Turner, but as I said, sure, Cale Hooker over the back, marks, and Essendon just has the share of the string. That's a shocking kick from Parrish. It goes straight to Davies Uniacke. Wasn't expecting it, but a little pass inside 50 to Bailey Scott. Takes the mark, 35 metres out on a slight angle. And this is certainly North Melbourne's best opportunity in a long time.
Well, Darcy Parish, he missed out in round one. Darcy Parish didn't get a game. A lot of people weren't happy with that. He gets back in, 8 disposals, and he's just turned the footy over countless times, just going at 50%. So gives them a little taste of hitting the scoreboard here, North.
Kicked 2 goals on debut against Fremantle, Bailey Scott, but he doesn't have one this afternoon.
Tell you what, Lloyd and Carey wouldn't have missed that from there. Even with Shaw.
Still missed a couple. They shouldn't have, Shorey. I won't bring that one up.
The way Shane's baiting me, I might take Shane on for Good Friday as well.
Oh, boy.
I'd love to see that.
My hamstring already hurts.
Here's Fantasia, Dylan Shield. He's running and gunning down the city side wing and then kicks the half forward, and he ran too far. Good point you made about Shield and his goal kicking. Yeah. I mean, you talk about the absolute elite players like Dangerfield, Judd in the past. They would have probably kicked that goal about 5 minutes ago. He sort of ran through the middle, but he just can't finish goals, Dylan Shield.
Someone, Matty, at the GWS Giants said to me, he's our 5th midfielder. I said, that's a big call. He said, no, just doesn't finish well enough around the ground and by foot. So he kicked 6-14, about 8 on the full as well. So that's a massive issue and still hasn't hit the scoreboard this year.
So if he sharpens that up, I'll tell you what, he will be some sort of player, one of the elite midfielders in the comp, but not quite there yet. It goes out. We're going to have a boundary throw-in.
I didn't have the greatest ball drop of all time, but does he turn the ball over too much, as in when you drop the ball flat on it, he turns it over that it goes back into his shin?
Good call, yep.
Ball thrown back into play. Colts able to win it down. Anderson in there, head over the footy, trying to get it out. Parrish is in there battling away as well. Myers, and now he's Shield. And he gets the kick to half forward. Danaher trying to push back into it. Tarrant outbodies him now and was able to take the mark.
Gee, that's a horrible kick.
Yeah, no real chance for any of his teammates to run onto that. Bagley goes to ground, flicked it out to Merritt. Couldn't quite get the connection with the handball. Now Bailey Scott's trying to get hold of it. Good work. Myers was in there. He's kick smothered. It works out for the Bombers. So, Parrish again. That flew off the side of the boot. Luckily to Shield. Shield might be able to make it good, clean the mess up. Handball out in front of Parrish. He left it now for Saad, who gets the wheels rolling. Little handball. It's going to be a kick from McKenna inside 50, but Gillard is able to get back and take it for North Melbourne.
So a 48-point lead to the Bombers at the 10-minute mark of the final term. Robolt Building Supply scoreboard. Essendon 11-9-75. North Melbourne stagnant on 3-9-27 as the ball comes to centre half back for the Kangaroos. And Sean Atley, you watch how Essendon moves the ball in comparison to the Kangaroos, and there couldn't be a greater juxtaposition as Zerha now.
Well, they're out here.
Moves it forward of the outer wing. Turner marks. Has a runner in Polek. Little chip inside 50 to Higgins, who's been very quiet this afternoon, and he will go back and take a set shot from 45 metres out on a slide angle.
Yeah, 14 disposals for Sean Higgins, and it's a rare time. It was a slow build-up, but somehow Essendon players just allowed North players to get out the back, and you don't want to let Pollock and Sean Higgins, probably their two most dynamic players, out the back. But just for their own pride and their own, in terms of confidence, he's got to nail this one.
They have to mitigate the damage at the moment, North Melbourne, because the Bombers are just too in control. As Higgins from 49. Gee, it's always offline, and he's lucky to get a minus score. That inaccuracy continues for the Kangaroos. 3-10-28 North Melbourne. Essendon 11-9-75. Robot Building Supply scoreboard.
Back into play, and Ridley takes the mark in the back pocket. We'll get down to Tommy Morris in a moment. There's a North Melbourne player with an issue down there. Here's Ridley. Goes up looking for Bell Chambers. Knocked away from him, close to the boundary line. Tackle that time on McMillan. Guelphy gets involved. McDonald, Tip and Woody. And now Guelphy again. Underground handball. Maybe a little bit too clever. Good work. Good pressure by McDonald, Tip and Woody. Laid the tackle. Caused the turnover. As Bagley goes inboard to Myers, who get the handball away to Merritt. Merritt's going to kick it inside the 50 now for the Bombers. McGrath's got a couple of beat. Dumped away from him. Races on to get there. Fantasia might get to it first. He will. He's able to collect. Handball McGrath. McGrath sells the dummy with the kick, centres it up, and Ambrose is able to dive in and take the mark just inside the 50 for the Bombers. We get down to Tom Morris.
Yeah, it's Paul Ahern down here for North Melbourne, getting his finger heavily strapped up and worked on by the physio and the doctor. He's in some sort of discomfort. I presume he's going to come back on because they're actually fixing it rather than just sending him down to the rooms, but he's in a fair bit of pain at the moment.
There is nothing worse when you're the full forward and you haven't kicked a goal.
Yeah.
The full back's about to kick one on you and it becomes 1-0. So Paddy Ambrose has held Ben Brown to 5 disposals and having a shot himself here.
So here's Ambrose on the runway, and he's going to unload from just outside the 50. And Paddy Ambrose has slam-pwned the goal. High fives all round for Ambrose, and then he'll make the journey back, Lloydie, to fullback, where he might just give Benny Brown a little glance, a little knowing smile.
Oh, it's more than that.
And maybe a couple of words, sure. If it was you, it would be a couple of words.
It'd be a lot of words.
It would be a lot of words.
No was the best at that against me, Matthew Scarlett.
Oh,
he was the best, and he'd let my teammates hear it, his teammates. He didn't say a lot of words, but what he said was cutting. And if I didn't run off him, or follow him down the ground, he hurt me. He'd say, he's meant to be the beep beep captain. What sort of example does this bloke set?
Bombers by 53 points.
Good Friday footy on 3AW from Marvel Stadium. Don't forget the number for the Good Friday appeal, 1300 277 325. 1300 appeal or goodfridayappeal.com.au. 18 million is the target. We've got to better next year. Keep those donations rolling in as Goldstein wins the tap. Cunnington Roves, handball to Higgins, won a few disposals for him. Up toward half forward, came off the shin of Turner to Wood. He kicks, launches toward goal. It's marked between the goal and behind posts by Zerha. Although I reckon we're going to have a conference between the umpires to see whether or not he marked it inside the field of play.
He said he's looking to pay the mark, just whether it was over the line or not.
Please make sure it was marked inside the field of play.
Oh, bobbled a little bit, didn't it, Shane?
It seems the third grab is over the line.
And it came from his body. I don't think that's a mark. Although I don't think I've got one of these right in 12 years.
So Cameron Zerha certainly controls the footy. There's no doubt about that. But his third take of the ball, I would say,
it bobbles
is
out
over
of his
the
head.
line.
And they're showing some terrible angles. We're getting nothing out of these angles on what we're seeing. We need to see the side on you, not behind you.
No, I think that bobbles off his shoulder and comes away from the body. So it should be a point that he didn't grab it totally.
Umpire's call would be the mark to behind.
I'm sure.
Yeah, thank you. I got one right in 12 years. I'm happy about that.
Congratulations, Shorey.
Thank you very much.
3:10:28. Make that 3:11:29 North Melbourne. Bombers 12:9 81.
Do you get a grand for that for the Royal Children's Hospital?
Here's McKenna back into play. Joe Danaher is able to just leap and take the mark.
And Matty, this is what I think they need to try and get out of this last quarter and a bit. Joe Danaher getting some footy in his hands.
Yep.
He's just had the 4 possessions.
Goes to Brown, takes it on the dockside wing. Handball to Merritt, onto the left. Kick to half forward, not great. Fantasia went without it. Parrish goes in and wins it. Got a handball away. Guelphy now
well done.
draws the man and gives it to Mitch Brown. And Mitch Brown's bringing this back. And that's an outstanding goal. He is having some sort of day out, Mitch Brown. And he's got 2. And he guided that one through beautifully. So Brown, he's been a good pickup, hasn't he, for the Bombers? He's become such a good player over the years. They go to 13.987 North Melbourne, 3.11.29, and that is on the Robot Building Supply scoreboard.
Gee, I love the way Matt Gelfie went about that, Lloyd. He just held the ball. The contact was coming to him, and I know it's still a hard shot for goal, but he gave the time to Brown. And you're right, Matty, he has had a brilliant day. I think I called it earlier about he was out running Thompson when he had that match-up, and he's just given himself opportunities to kick goals. If you work hard enough, you'll get those opportunities.
It's a hard thing to say, Shane, but part of me wants this to be a real shellacking because North need to look at the way they play.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, they wouldn't want to, if they lose by 30, they say, that was competitive. But lose by 100, they have to address where they're going with their footy team.
And there is no doubt at all, as you said before, Lloydie, it is going to put pressure on this playing group and also the coach in Brad Scott if they are to be demolished by what we think they will be in this second half. Fantasia does a wide 360, goes back to the goal square, and at the top of it, the biggest man on the ground, Chambers marks. Why did he handball it on? McDonald, Tip and Woody in the forward pocket. Keeps it inside the field of play, and then it goes over. Why on earth did Tom Bell-Chambers not go back and kick that directly in front?
Unselfish, was it, in a way, but, yeah. My father used to say every inch over 6 foot, the brain shrinks the same amount.
Boundary throw in left forward pocket. That was a
How tall are you, Matty?
6'3".
goes the mids. As here's a shot from Bell-Chambers.
Oh, boy.
And misses to the near side. The Bombers, as you said, Lloydie, can do some real damage here. Their biggest ever win over North Melbourne at this stadium is 55 points. Margin currently stands at 53 in favour of the Bombers.
McMillan brings it in. There's been some front-on contact to Bailey Scott, who'll take a free kick for North Melbourne. He gets on with business. Handball to Pollock. Pollock now, that's an ordinary kick as well, out to the wing, and got away from Zeeble. We're going to have a throw in.
It's a horrible kick. It is a horrible kick because it's a one-on-one, but you look over the line and you could hope your North Melbourne teammate, just someone between the lines, runs in the space, but they don't look over. They're a team who just likes to get possession and rack them up. Well, they just don't penetrate.
Ball thrown back into play. Heppel goes chasing and he's able to win the Sharon. Brings it inboard, a little bit dangerous. Pittard was able to knock it away from McDonald, Tip and Woody. Comes to Anderson of North Melbourne, back to Pittard. Pittard's kick again is poor, and there's the mark taken by Ridley, who goes back. He goes back to Hurley, who takes it right half back now for the Bombers. So he'll go short to Heppel, with the margin sitting at 59 points in favour of the Bombers. Might get down to you, Tom.
Paul Ahern back on the field, which is good news for North Melbourne, and the updated tally as of 6 p.m, $6,501,325.
Kick to the wing. North Melbourne have got it sorted this time. Atley, there's nothing for him backwards, so he's got a handball to right and just buy a bit of time. Back to Atley, and it comes unstuck for North Melbourne. As Merritt goes to Shield. Dodging, weaving. Handball McGrath. McGrath looks up. He'll go top of the goal square, needing the mark. McMillan. He played the ball on its merits and then goes for it at ground level. Bagley might have got him without the peel, he did. And McMillan will take the free kick in the back pocket.
So the Kangaroos have it still yet to kick a goal in this third term. In fact, their last goal was at the 20-minute mark of the second quarter as Pittard. Well, that's just the Pits.
Well, that's why he was hardly got a game for Port Adelaide and was traded. There's no doubt about that. It's been the one issue with his game that's always let him down.
McDonald, Tip and Woody chips it into Heppel, delivers inside 50, over the head of Danaher. Here's Mitch Brown again. He's crunched, tries to get the kick away. He done miraculously. He did miraculously, I meant to say, but it hit the post. And another minor for the Bombers. He is playing some game, the former Cat. 13-11-89 Essendon. North Melbourne 3-11-29. It's a 10-goal lead to the Bombers.
Long kick in. Hurley spilled it. Should have gobbled that one up early. And the free kick is going to go the way of Parrish. So threw it out there, and Parrish will take it inside the centre square, half forward. He sees an option. On the move is Bagley. Didn't quite get to it. He's able to gather at ground level, and then he kicks it round his body. McDonald, Tip and Woody. He couldn't take the mark, thumped away from him. Heppel to round up the Sharon. He can't quite drag it in. Atley is there. Merritt wins it. Handball back. Bell-Chambers. Big fella, what are you doing? He's caught again.
He's had a nightmare of 5 minutes.
He has. He's had a mare, the big man.
He's played well, though, today.
It's a free kick to be taken at left half back by Bailey Scott.
I just want to touch on, a lot of being made of Ben Rutten. You look at this, a lot of these turnovers, they've had a pretty good setup today. Obviously, North have helped it with how slow they've been, but when they've defended extremely well.
North Melbourne lucky not to cough it up again across half back is now Aaron Hall, who's had plenty of it this afternoon. Keeps it across half back and to Jared Pollock. Essendon 13-11-89. North Melbourne 3-11-29. Robot Building Supplies scoreboard for all your building supplies needs as Hurley swoops onto it at left half back. Feeds a handball up to McKenna. And now Hooker. Handball defensively. To Ripley. Dangerous kick toward full back. Redmond couldn't get there. Ben Brown did. Snaps. Finally something for North Melbourne fans to celebrate their fourth goal of the afternoon. At the 22-minute mark of the third quarter, the Kangaroos 4-11-35. Essendon 13-11-89.
And unfortunately for North Melbourne, that's the only way they can really get their shots at the moment. We saw a turnover from Parrish, which gave Bailey Scott a chance, and then a horrible turnover there. Was it Ridley who turned that football over? Yeah, Ridley, and gave Ben Brown a chance. Poor Paddy Ambrose, he's shattered because he wanted to keep Ben Brown goalless. But, again, I saw a kick there on the half-back flank. Aaron Hall had it, and he's in the corridor, and he just does a nothing kick to the boundary line, sure, and that's pretty much summed up their day. And I think after the game, I hope those questions get asked. Tommy Morris, you down there? I'd just love you to ask those questions about the game style. Is it due to a lack of confidence, lack of speed, or are you coaching that way, Brad? Because it's getting you nowhere and it's making it difficult for your forward line.
54 points is the margin in favour of the Bombers. And they all dive in for it. Higgins was able to handle it out the back door to Dumont, who dumps it inside the 50 for North Melbourne. Hooker got back, went back with courage, couldn't take the mark though. Ball up for grabs, Hurley is able to take it and then just slam it onto the boot into open territory. Getting their first pole look, and Ham got hold of him in the tackle too. They scream ball, the Bombers fans, they won't get it. Heppel is around here. Ham again applies more pressure. Footy comes out. Half forward it goes for the Bombers. Dumped away from Pittard. Ball up for grabs, Atley able to take it into Zurhar, and Zurhar takes it just backward of the wing for North Melbourne. Nothing ahead, so all the way back to Pittard, puts him under a bit of pressure, to bend over, off balance as he kick, gives it airtime. Danaher got there, thumped it away from right, he might go again, gave away the free. Danaher though, it's going to be a free, luckily for North Melbourne. They're in all sorts there, and again that kick from Pittard, just far too much air.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, gee, almost going out in the full. Luckily, Tarrant was there to take the mark at left half back for the Kangaroos.
It's just a lot about the Adelaide Crows too. The fact that North Melbourne was able to beat them by 12 points last week, and Kangaroos have just been outclassed this afternoon. Zeeble gives off a handball. Higgins has to do a pirouette. Handball defensively. Turner has to have no intent to go forward as much as they desire. Here's Dumont now. Can he find something further afield? Gave it to Ahern. Ahern gave it off in turn to Zurhar. And Zurhar, out in front of Ben Brown, takes the mark, virtually directly in front. We'll go back to give North Melbourne back-to-back goals for the first time this afternoon.
First time he was one-on-one without anybody around him to win a step. Hooker was there, but stayed in the corridor, and the ball went to the left. So he's normally a beautiful kick, this bloke, but gee, hasn't had a lot of it today.
The run-up
been a lot of supply.
Starts virtually in the centre of the ground. Once he gets to his mark, he'll kick from 45. This to bring the margin under 50 points. Late stages, third term. Brown got close to the man on the mark. Put it out to dry. And a minus score results. 4-12. 36 North Melbourne. A long way behind the Bombers. 13-11. 89-25 gone. Third term. Robot Building Supply scoreboard.
Saab brings it into Hurley. Down to you, Tommy Morris.
I just wonder if the coaches for Essendon are thinking about putting Tip and Woody in cotton wool, because Anzac Day is not far away. This corky's causing him a fair bit of discomfort on the bench.
Yeah, I reckon that'll be a good call. I think they've got this game in the bag for the Bombers. Here's Guelphy with the tackle, and the umpire will come and ball it up. So, Anzac Day, the next assignment against the Magpies. Gee, won't that be big with the Bombers in form and the Magpies really humming last night up at the Gabba? That'll be a huge game.
And Tom, Jakey Stringer also hobbling down there as well.
Yeah, he's not at 100% either, Lloydie.
So quick kick. North is going to bounce out. We're going to have a throw in just outside the 50.
What do you think that is, Tom? Did he get a knock? Or?
Yeah, he's feeling for his left calf. He's staying on the ground at the moment. The physio's coming up to him. Wait and see whether he waves him away, but he's certainly grimacing.
He's prone to make a miraculous recovery at times, as Jake Stringer as well through his career. He's Dumont. He receives the handball, goes top of the goal square with the kick, and Ambrose got that covered. He doubles back at the last line and takes the mark for the Bombers.
Wonderful to see too. We just saw on the Yarra Valley and Croydon Toyota in-screen monitor Majak Dor watching on this afternoon as the Bombers look to clear it out of defensive 50. It's spoiled away from Heppel and a boundary throw-in. 60 around from goal for the Kangaroos. Locket end of the ground. Bombers 89. North Melbourne 36. Late stages, third term. 3AW footy with thanks to McDonald's, who have already raised today $17,000 after 17 goals kicked between the two sides this afternoon. In fairness, it's probably courtesy of the Bombers. Most of that donation comes. As now Tarrant, off centre half back, drills it into the centre corridor, and smack bang in the middle of Marvel Stadium, Davies Uniacke takes the mark. Wants to take on Darcy Parish, stepped around him with a bit of ease. Lobs it up to centre half forward. Simpkins there. He took merit without it. Davies Uniacke charges onto the footy, but there's a free kick. And it's going to go against Davies Uniacke. I'm not exactly sure what He infringed upon.
Holding the ball.
Oh, he went too far.
Yeah, no, he took them on and had the ball disposed. Yep.
So Ripley now short to Hurley, and now Hurley short to Dylan Shield, who has a left half back.
It's got a pretty ordinary day, Davies Uniac, Lloydie. His disposal by foot.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, he's 43%, just the 11 disposals.
He's usually better than that.
He just hasn't adapted to AFL footy. Gun junior, but just hasn't really. He's had probably one game where he's had 20 disposals plus.
Back to Ridley, and then mark taken by Matt Guelphy. He's got it right half back with Essendon leading by 53 points. What have we got left? We're inside the last minute here as we tick down to three-quarter time. Hurley has got the football, and then he goes across to Redmond. Redmond crosses defensive 50. Going to bounce it. He kicks it now, and he gets it to Darcy Parish. There's time for another goal for the Bombers if they're good enough. Kick to half forward. Heppel out by himself, able to take the mark. Then he goes deep to the pocket. And Stringer.
He's come good, Matty.
Yeah, he looks all right now. He's going to go. I saw him one day for the Western Bulldogs come off, I reckon, 3 times, Shorey. I thought he was done, cooked for the day. And then back on 3 times. But he can look a bit proppy at times. But he looks pretty good now. He kicked from 49.
He's been a good pickup for Essendon, but this is his area. Doesn't miss when he snaps, but in general field kicking, he struggles. This is a tough kick from 50, but this is an area he's got to get better at because he misses a lot of easy ones.
Yeah, it is a tough one. 50, pretty tough angle. He's only had the 5 touches today, and he's kicked the 1 goal with a kick to come. Kicks from the 50, and it won't have the legs to get there. It won't score, and that is all she wrote for the third quarter. And the margin is 53 points in favour of Essendon. It is the Bombers 13-11-89, leading North Melbourne 4-12-36 at three-quarter time. That third quarter, courtesy of Robot Building Supplies. We'll come back. We'll hear from Matty Lloyd and also Tony Shaw. There's a little bit of push and shove out there. Bill Chambers and Tarrant going at it. And we'll get down to Tommy Morris as well. But it's the Bombers by 53 points as we turn for home. For McDonald's, 3AW is football.